is to witness that all exists. And when all exists, then I pull my power back into me. And I am the source of all of my abundance. I am the source of my safety.
Hmm.
Not ego me, but the eternal me that is always streaming through me. I
Hmm.
am that source. And when I'm that source, oh, wow, I lost my job. Oh, okay, I'm going to take care of my human self. I'm witnessing some feelings of unsafety, but knowing that I'm the source of all of it, I can see that there are multitudes of opportunities that are going to show up for me. And I can rest in and be in my own eternal nature and watch as new experiences come up that are
Hmm.
going to satisfy me, bring me safety internally, right? And we do need to take care of our human selves. So, this is a practice. This is a daily practice. It's not uh, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. That phrase has been coming up
I,
a lot
I,
lately.
I have Allison Holley here today. I want to start off by just welcoming everybody to raising the consciousness of humanity. And please like and subscribe. That really helps to get this message out there. Share it with anybody. I think you're going to find this particular episode is going to be truly exciting. And yeah, with no further ado, I really want to welcome you, Allison, to the show. And I hope you don't mind. I'm going to read your intro from the back of your book. So
Awesome.
I got to put on my readers to.
Yeah, yeah, I love it.
Allison Holley is an Andromedan starseed channel and author of three different books. I know that there was one that was about channeling, a channeling workbook.
I got him right here. I'll pull him up while you're reading.
Okay. The Error of the True Creator, a guide to ascending beyond dramatic paradigm into pure form consciousness. Oh, yes. And then this one, which I'm reading, and I just got this the
Yeah.
other day, so I started listening to the audio, but now I'm reading along with it. The Ecstatic Playground, creating as gods and masters on the playground of life. And yeah, so you had a profound awakening in 2012. Allison began spontaneously channeling and receiving visions of the world to come. She left her former life to integrate these higher frequencies, downloads, and eventually began teaching channeling for others. Allison now offers channel transmissions, activations, and guidance worldwide to assist in our current global awakening. And we certainly are going through some sort of current global awakening. So, and you offer so much more. I mean, I've been through your website. We're going to share that with everybody later on. And yeah, so welcome, Allison.
Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Nice to meet everybody. Yeah, I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah, and I want to first start with so the curiosity is going to be out there. So I want to first start in what is an Andromedan star seed?
Mm,
And I just touch on this because this just came up for me. Years ago, I used to listen to a person named Alex Collier, I think it was. And I think,
okay.
yeah, I think he was also connected to the Andromedan.
Mm,
So what if you could clarify that and then also channeling, because there's a
amazing.
lot of sometimes misconception, and I've heard you share that before. So if you could share those two things, that would be great.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so my understanding of being a star seed, and this goes back to when I first started my awakening journey. In fact, it was before that. I grew up, as many of us do, in a religion, and it was a religion that didn't believe in reincarnation. Of course,
Hmm.
we weren't talking about aliens or anything like that. So there was nothing on the table that made me navigate toward this other than the inner knowing. And I remember hearing the term star child, and I don't even remember where I heard that from. But as soon as I heard it, I was like, that's me. that's me. I'm a star child. I felt it. And then when I heard what it meant, oh, it meant that I'm from somewhere else. It meant that maybe this is my first time here. And I said, yes, that is definitely me. Even though the religion that I grew up in didn't believe in reincarnation, that wasn't even, like I said, on the table. There was something in me that knew I was very new to this planet, and it was a very different experience for me. That rang true. So when I went through my awakening in 2012, I came into so many understandings, and immediately one of the abilities that came online was channeling, and it was verbal channeling. So I'll go into, what channeling is and the way that I've come to see it. But one of the first things that I went into a channeling space to ask is, where am I from? Because by then I'd heard, star child had turned into the term star seeds, which is kind of more common now. And I said, okay, I know I'm from somewhere else. Where am I from? And I went into my meditative practice to listen. And I heard right away Andromeda. And at the time, this was in 2012. There's so much more available on the internet at this point. But at the time, and especially where I was in my awakening, I didn't even know if Andromeda was a place. I thought maybe it was something out of a comic book. And so I continued to go in and I asked, okay, what did I look like? And I saw these beautiful, very tall, big blue beings. I was shown a lot about the face, about the hands, all of it. And um, after I got done with that channeling, of course, I went on to Google and I was like, Andromeda Starseed. And at the time, the pictures that came up were not what I saw. But I did at least confirm that Andromeda was a galaxy. So this was an actual place that hypothetically I could be from. Um, and when I checked actually about 3 years later, there were many pictures of beings who looked the way that I had received in that channeling. And so
Mm,
I think what happened was a lot of us were waking up and starting to see these different incarnations of beings who live on Andromeda and who exist within those fields. So, what I've been told through channeling about what a starseed is source creation sends all of these many, beyond even the ability to conceptualize creations.
mm,
And when we embody the soul level creation, our soul is seated, or the first existence of our soul blueprint is within a certain star system or a certain galaxy or a certain frequency. And so my soul was seated within the Andromedan galaxy, and within those dimensional planes. So that was the first experience that I knew. What I've discovered since then is that this is a concurrent experience. So currently that's who I am, and that a ray of myself is projected onto this earth experience right now. So to get totally out there, that's how I see
yeah,
starseeds.
nice.
Yeah, so I'll go into channeling now, what channeling really looks like for me. When I went through the initial stages of my awakening in 2012, it really blew a lot open, and it was a very visceral, very strong experience for me. And what happened during that extreme opening, that really intense opening, that was the catalyst to this. A lot of people say, why did this happen? The catalyst was I went through a breakup, and the emotional experience of that breakup actually activated. And of course, it was just divine timing for my experience. It activated these openings within my energetic field. So my third eye and my crown just very viscerally opened. As that was happening, and I tell a lot of people this, it felt like I was on psychedelics for several months. And I was not. I couldn't even drink coffee. It was a completely sober experience, but the reason that it felt like psychedelics is because psychedelics actually open us to these multidimensional layers of, all that is. And I was opening to those sober. And so I would have moments come out of the blue where I was having visions at the same time as talking to someone. I would have a lot of dizzy spells.
Mm.
Um, there would be periods where time would sort of shift. So it would either speed up or slow down, kind of compressing or, expanding. Um, some other things that happened. Wow, it was just, channeling came online. So the
Mm.
way that that looked for me when it first started was um, both times I was driving in my car and I would just feel this sort of, uh, what would it be? Like hyper reality sort of experience would come in, and I would feel a pressure on the top of my head. And it was a knowing, it was a full body knowing at the same time as reality was kind of expanding into something else. um, there was a knowing that a message was coming through, and it felt like a river moving through from my crown, into my throat. And then I would speak these messages. So, two times at the beginning, it happened spontaneously. And I was driving in my car both times, and both times I pulled over and called my mom. And then this transmission just started coming through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was accompanied with visions. So I would get visions with my eyes open at the same time as I was channeling. Um, because I was so deep in the present moment, I don't remember a lot of what came through during those times. But I remember the idea. And the first channeling I remember a lot. It was my grandmother was channeling through. I don't do a lot of mediumship channeling, which is
Mm.
where a being actually comes through, like a being who's been incarnated on Earth. Most of the time, I'm channeling frequencies and it's not specific beings, which kind of leads me to how I see channeling now. And it's witnessing that we are all channeling all the time, because what channeling is opening up the aperture of ourselves to allow information from higher dimensions to pour through us. And that is something that all of us have to do at a certain extent
Mm.
in order to even be embodied as humans.
Okay.
In order to animate this human experience, this human vessel, it's a marriage between the earth, so the physical body, and my higher aspect, the light that is me, uh, pouring through me at all times, which is why, when we cross over, when we are done with this life, the light that animates this body, goes on to other things, and the physical vessel goes back to the earth. So, right now we're in this marriage, but that marriage and the light that's streaming through is channeling. And what we're doing when we're consciously channeling is we're opening up to more and more levels of light coming through and learning to interpret the frequency of that information. So sometimes it's communication with other beings on different dimensions. Most of the time when I'm channeling, I'm simply accessing a higher frequency field and I'm delivering the information that I'm receiving there. So that was a lot. Are
Yeah, no,
we
that
motoring?
that says a lot. That explains a lot to me. And actually, like in some ways, you could say, aren't we all kind of channeling our higher self in a certain way?
Yes. And ideally, it's important with the realms that we're opening to in, this ascension process, activating new earth
Mm.
and stepping into that. One of my missions, one of my purposes is to help people see that we're all channels
Mm.
and to learn how to interpret the way that each of us channel,
Yeah.
because really channeling is opening up to just more. Um, in the past, this idea of channeling was really reserved for only a few people who were doing it in a very specific way. And now it's important that we all recognize that we're all receiving our own divine guidance in a very powerful, expanded way.
Mm.
And that this is actually just part of everyone's process. Now, you may not end up being a verbal channel the way that I am. I'm very verbal. I don't know if anybody can tell. Open
Yeah.
crown chakra. Purpose, right? But we are meant to channel more of these higher levels of light through ourselves, in a myriad of ways. And that's just going to look different for everyone. I'm witnessing a lot of people come online with these powerful healing abilities. So this light is moving through them in a way that sets the field with healing abilities and things like that. So, um, but this is part of our awakening and part of our empowerment.
Yeah, and thanks for saying that because sometimes people feel, oh, I'm stuck. I don't channel, but like you said, we're all different, and it comes through
Exactly.
us. I mean, it would be a boring place if we were all exactly the same, anyways.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And the fact that some of the things that you shared too about sometimes when you're talking to people and then you'd have like a dizzy spell, I've had that. I never
Yeah.
knew why,
Yeah.
but yeah. So hopefully, when some of the other people listening out there too might connect with some of those things, and you teach channeling, which
Yes, I
is
do.
something that's on your website, and that you wrote a book, a workbook to go along with that.
Yes.
So
I
yeah,
can grab that. Hold on. I
and
should have had one.
as you're grabbing that book,
Yes.
you know what I feel beautiful about this too is
Yes.
growing up. Yeah, I came from well, a Catholic mom, Protestant dad. So that was called a mixed marriage back then. But you come from, see, sometimes there's this belief, this just negativity around, oh, channel, oh, don't do that. Like, you get that. And then also you get the feeling, like you just said, only a select few are capable or able. And the way you introduce that topic and the way you serve and help others is you give them that invitation, number one, that it's all okay, we're all different, we're going to channel differently, and you help guide them through that process. Because honestly, I think for for humanity or any individual to feel whole in a way
Yes. Yes.
is to know thyself at the deepest level
Yes.
that they can.
Yes.
And one of the things is their communication with their higher self.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I think that's beautiful. So share a little bit more. Like, okay, you shared that you came from kind of a religious background and stuff like that. As a child, up until 2012, and you had this big change. I mean, it wasn't like you had to go to the Himalayas for 20 meditate for 20 years. It was
I'd like to.
yeah, yeah. But as a child, did you have any of these gifts that like are apparent now? Did they ever show up? Did your parents see those? I don't know. I'm just kind of curious.
You know, I I mean, I love that question because it's sort of multifaceted. No, I wouldn't consider myself to be an awake child. And in fact, referencing the way that I described channeling, I was not in my body for a lot of my life.
Okay.
My awakening process, like I wasn't fully landed in, I wasn't fully integrated. I actually remember, so I was intuitive, and that wasn't something that was off the table in my growing up years in my religion. Particularly, I would say my dad always knew that he was intuitive, and he honored that. And my mom, especially the female side,
Mhm.
when the females would all get together, we would just be really fun with it. And without really knowing it, it was very much a prophetess sort of vibe with everyone in that part of the family. So that wasn't off the table. It was just considered, uh, the Holy Spirit or, whatever, your own
Mm,
intuition. It wasn't off the table. Um, and I've always been very intuitive, but I remember the time that my aura hit the ground. Uh, and I was in my 20s.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I actually got it was a facial piercing. I went and got a facial piercing, and the moment that I got that piercing, it was right here in the center line. So it was right
Mm.
through the middle of my nose. And when I got that piercing, I remember this feeling of "Whoop," and I recognized that my aura had been hovering about at my knees my whole life, and it actually touched the earth for the first time. This was before my awakening. And so it touched the earth for the first time. And I remember my field of vision, I didn't realize until that moment, but I was seeing everything from up here. And at that moment, I finally saw, I felt shorter. It was very interesting. I was like, whoa, I'm so on the ground. And so yeah, I was intuitive, I was aware at that level, but I was definitely existing up here.
Oh, wow.
So my awakening process has actually been learning how to be grounded. I kind of went the opposite direction that a lot of people talk about. So many people compare an awakening with a Kundalini rising. Mine was top down. And I think a lot of your viewers will understand this, particularly people who are more of the starseed type. We tend to have that top down where our energy actually kind of enters our body more and we learn to trust the earth. We learn the physical plane spirituality. And that depth of connection with the earth as a spiritual teacher. So that's been most of my awakening. Um, I feel like I went a little bit off topic, but that's
No, that's perfect. Yeah, because it helps to share that sometimes we have these things earlier in our life that when we reflect and look backwards, that we're always there.
yes.
And I think everybody listening probably could relate to everybody has something if they really just sit with themselves and look at that, they maybe had some things in their childhood that maybe they were suppressed or maybe we personally suppressed things too.
Yeah.
But the grounding I think is really interesting because it's been a big thing for me.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think we were just talking about the Schumann resonance before we got on and the
Yeah.
solar flare and everything, which is really, really intense at this moment. But ironically, I don't know, a few years ago, I got the idea of making a grounding bed, and I
Oh, I love
literally
that.
pounded a 3 foot copper stake in a lawn and took a wire through drilled a hole in the house.
Wow.
And I found copper fabric on Amazon. And so it just
So
so
amazing.
I made bed sheets out of it so I could like sleep on the ground.
I want
Um
to copy that.
yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I don't want to sidetrack this because this is really more about
I know.
you.
Could you see me starting to go way
Yeah.
over there?
But I
Yes.
just yeah, I wanna really tap into so many of the videos. Like again, how I found you. I think I shared this with you before. It was months ago,
Hmm.
not quite a year ago, and I was up in New Hampshire, and my cell phone just I was listening to another video, another podcast or whatever, and somehow it cut off, and then later you just popped on, like your video started
Hmm.
playing, and then I was just saying, whatever she's sharing, I relate to. It
Hmm.
really was that, like even the word choices that you were using. And since then, I've listened to things that you've shared, including the video yesterday, which I thought was a really good video about dreams and dreaming
Hmm.
and how you related that. The the topic I think of today is this whole thing about we're going through almost like a shake up to wake up moment, right?
Good way to put it.
Yeah, yeah. And we got this concept of New Earth, which everybody thinks, I think they relate to that in a different way. So I would love to hear your insight on
Mhm.
that. But you know, what to do at this moment? Because
Mhm.
we can see all this havoc and chaos and craziness, and yet many of us have chosen to be here at this time.
Mhm.
And from your perspective, because I know this is where you give a lot of, excellent guidance.
Mm.
What is this whole concept of New Earth that you can maybe share a little bit about? And what are the things that we can do? Because honestly, I think most people that are follow this channel, they're compassionate.
Yeah.
They want to make a difference.
Mhm.
They feel, how can little old me make a difference within the structure of reality where we vote for somebody and we expect that one person or whatever to change, and
Mhm.
the world doesn't change the way we want it to, and then two sides fight, and we don't want that. So
Mhm.
go ahead, Allison, share the perspective on all of this.
It's a wild ride right
Yeah.
now. Um, so where I want to start with that is actually touching in on how this kind of relates to what I've been learning through my awakening, which is grounding, which is connecting to the earth processes, which is kind of, in a way, more of the dense layer of reality than, what many of us are used to. The reason that that interacts. So, what we're witnessing right now is actually a cause for celebration.
Mm,
A lot of times when we see chaos or we see destruction because of our where we're existing and where what we're able to see, our limited scope of being able to see, it's almost like compare it to the processes on the earth. So imagine a tree falling in the forest and then breaking down. Now, if we were at the level of the tree on the earth and we're looking and all the bugs are in there and we're just freaking out because it's like, oh, that bug, it's eating it, it's breaking it down, this beautiful tree, this, right?
mm,
And we're in that right now. And there are many layers of what's happening. And when we talk about moving into new earth, I'm going to weave all this together. When we talk about moving into new earth, what we're doing is we're moving our collective consciousness into a higher vibrational field. And in that higher vibrational field, things look different. We interact from a place of, our God selves,
mm.
and see each other as God, individuals within the whole. I'm getting an ear ringing. It's lovely. Download. And so that's New Earth. We're getting this vibrational experience of love and joy and light embodied in physical form. And so, in order for that to happen, we're raising the floor. We're raising the floor of our experience. And the way that it looks, I use a lot of metaphors. It sort of looks like a building imploding upwards, right? So,
Mm,
we've got these denser dimensions that are cleaning themselves up, and everything that can't hold the higher structure of light as it moves up is tilling itself. It's just like the forest floor. It's breaking down, it's forming the raw material so that we can build something, the structures of light that exist within New Earth, and have that be embodied in the physical. So, all that being said, what we're witnessing right now is the breakdown of the structures that cannot hold the highest frequency of light. And so, even though it looks all sorts of ways, it looks hard and it feels hard. Some people are right in the middle of it. I'm not dismissing any of that. Some people are right in the middle of it. Their personal world is going through a breakdown. Maybe they're in a physical location where there's war, where there's contention, where there's fighting. Those things are actively happening. And no matter where we are in it is vibrationally something that we can experience in different ways. So even if we're physically in the middle of it, we are going to witness that vibrationally, we're still witnessing it from different perspectives. But the whole of the picture is that the structures that we're witnessing breaking down right now, we're looking, what all that's happening is we're looking at the breakdown within a specific field, and that breakdown is creating the fertile soil that we're then going to create and that we are currently creating new earth with.
Hmm. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a lot. Maybe we can take it into a more physical, practical, human perspective.
Yeah,
Now that I've given the broad view, we're walking into new earth. We're creating these incredible new ways of being. Sorry for the
yeah.
dog. We're creating these incredible new ways of being collectively and individually. So we may be right now feeling it more individually and then connecting with each other as the collective, sort of like this, where, on your channel, people who are gravitating toward these frequencies are feeling this love and light, but then also peripherally witnessing, wow, there's a lot of destruction happening, right? So this is when a lot of people talk about this earth split, we're in the middle of it. So we are both existing within a frequency of love and light and wholeness, and we are simultaneously witnessing a lot of breakdown.
Hmm.
As humans, when we witness breakdown, we often interpret it as there's something wrong. And so the challenge, I think, is to witness it, be in it, exist in the midst of it as it's happening, and to see that it's actually part of a big process. And
Hmm.
therefore, it's really beautiful and it's really powerful. And so that leads me to, how do we navigate our current life with this?
Hmm.
It's learning to exist in that frequency, to pull your energy back, just like I talked about in the dream video that you
Yeah.
watched. It's learning how to pull our energy back into the source of creation within ourselves and navigate from there. So part of this earth split is being the conscious, active observer while not being taken down by what's happening. So that means I witness what's happening. I might even be involved in it, but I am not attached to it.
Not attached to it. Nice.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
that attachment, the feeling of this is all that ever is that very, sorry, I've got a hair right here. It's that very myopic way of looking at, there we go.
I don't have that problem. Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
It's that very myopic way of looking at the breakdown. And we're looking at it like this. And we feel like, oh, because it's so close, that's all that's going on. When really we can become more of that expanded version of ourselves and see, oh, all of it's going on. And I'm going to be very conscious now and very present with my life experience. And in that consciousness and in that presence, that's the middle way that we've
Middle
been
way.
hearing about forever,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. And so with some people, it's basically being, I guess, distraught by whatever they're noticing outside of themselves. And then some people, it's personally within their life.
Yeah.
They might have a breakup, a divorce, or loss of a job, or suddenly, having to move, shifting that's going around. Um, I guess, and it's not always easy. I mean,
Yeah. It's not.
but when what you shared about being the observer or being able to like step back and witness it from an unattached perspective, that makes sense.
Let's talk about attachment. I think this is going to be really helpful
Okay.
because the part that people get confused with, as I witness, when people get confused about non-attachment, they still see it in a dualistic way. So non-attachment, for some people, they interpret to mean I'm either attached to something, meaning I'm involved with it, or I'm not attached, meaning I don't care about it.
Hmm.
I'm actively pushing it away. I don't care. I don't want to know, all of that. But non attachment being the middle way is actually, you can even enter that point of pain as your threshold for greater expansion and awakening. Attachment is to really believe that this moment in time is the only thing that exists. This experience is the only thing that exists. And therefore, if I let go of this experience or let go of the mental idea of my framing around it, then somehow I'm going to be unsafe.
Hmm.
It's really time-based. Attachment is really time-based. Attachment is saying, this is all there is. So I've got to invest my power into it. It's an externalization of the power. Non-attachment is to really be present with all of it. Non-attachment doesn't mean we ignore it, we look away from it, we um, say that it doesn't exist, or we say that it's bad. A lot of people go there. I'm not attached to it because that's bad. Like the world leaders are bad. That's a big attachment that tends to come up. But what we're really doing is we're allowing ourselves to exist in that center point of all of it simply is. It all simply is.
Hmm.
So let's use these as an example. Let's go meta and then let's go micro or individual. If I have an attachment to, um, let's say, a world leader, my attachment is based on my need for safety that I have then put in the hands of this world leader. So if
Oh, good
something
point.
changes, if
Yeah.
something changes with that, then I am instantly unsafe.
Hmm.
And I'm also angry with those people. I'm angry with anyone who agrees with those people or who disagrees with those people because my power is in that person or that system. That's
Yeah.
attachment. It's the disembodiment of the power. Now you have control of my safety. So non-attachment is bringing the power back into the self. And in that experience, we witness, oh, wow, I'm being shown a lot about this political landscape.
Hmm.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know what else is going on? Everything. Everything
Hmm.
else is going on. And I'll take it this far, that world leader is both totally bad and totally good.
Hmm.
Can I see them as both? Can I free myself from that attachment by allowing them to be all of the above,
Sure.
you know? And then so personally, so now we bring it into our personal worlds. Let's say in the midst of all of this change, one of the things that's happening is our job is changing.
Hmm.
That's a scary one. That's a scary one because we can see how that connects us to our safety immediately. And this attachment to the job being the thing that keeps me safe, or that consistency of that source of money being what keeps me safe, as soon as that gets destabilized, I'm upset with it. I feel scared. I feel anxious and all of that. And I'm not judging any of this because I go through it.
Yeah.
The alternative is to witness that all exists. And when all exists, then I pull my power back into me. And I am the source of all of my abundance. I am the source of my safety,
Hmm.
not ego me, but the eternal me that is always streaming through me. I
Hmm.
am that source. And when I'm that source, oh, wow, I lost my job. Oh, okay, I'm going to take care of my human self. I'm witnessing some feelings of unsafety, but knowing that I'm the source of all of it, I can see that there are multitudes of opportunities that are going to show up for me. And I can rest in and be in my own eternal nature and watch as new experiences come up that are
Hmm.
going to satisfy me, bring me safety internally, right? And we do need to take care of our human selves. So, this is a practice. This is a daily practice. It's not uh, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. That phrase has been coming up a lot
I
lately.
love that. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's said so well. And the other thing that kind of brought up for me was, you know, now that I'm a little bit older and I'm 64. So now that I look back at everything that I ever thought was maybe wrong or didn't work out. It actually worked
Mhm.
out better than ever. In many
Wow.
cases, yeah, because I was like, contemplating on this just the other day. It's like everything that I always worried or had fear over, the true pattern of how things evolved is like a living miracle if I look at it that way.
Wow.
Yeah, I never like really ever ran out of money, even though I feared over
Yeah.
that so many times.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I think what you just shared, being able to, I guess the words that you put it in to me make so much sense. It really does.
It can all kind of be boiled down to more and more deeply accessing our eternal selves,
Hmm.
which is a lot because one of the gifts and also the challenges of being a human is that we have a very narrow viewpoint.
Yeah.
The me right now is all there is, and I got to protect it, and it's scary, and there's a lot of, stuff going on that could change my sense of safety, my sense of beingness.
Hmm.
And that is what we're learning. It's this really deep understanding of I am an eternal being having this human experience, and I'm going to go deep into this human experience. I'm going to play on this big game board,
Hmm.
and part of playing is to be gracious with the fact that the whole human game is to forget that we're God.
Hmm.
And so we're out here forgetting we're God all the time. We're doing it well.
Yeah.
You know?
Which leads me to another question, because I got that question that we talked about.
Yes.
How do we feel safe and how do we also create?
Mm.
And I want to also ask the question, which so many people talk about they view Earth in a particular paradigm, I guess.
Mhm.
One being Earth is a prison planet. I've heard
I've
that.
heard that. Hmm.
Earth is a school. In some cases, I've heard master school. And then the other one that's recently come up, it's also a game. And we get,
Game in a playground.
yeah,
There's truth to all of that.
right?
There's truth to all of that. And we could almost look at that as the different dimensions that we're viewing our human experience through. So Earth is a prison planet from the physical dimension.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you, I've even had visions of how that works when we are unconscious, when we are operating within, as they say, the matrix, right? The
Yep.
denser layers of reality. It is a prison. Our energy is actually being extracted and farmed by lower density beings. This is a truth.
Hmm.
And then it's true when we look at it that way, right? And so then when we expand our consciousness, we say, oh, maybe I chose this. Okay, Earth is a school then. Earth is a place where I'm learning,
Hmm.
where I'm being tested, right? Oh, my soul is being tested in this because at school we get tests and things like
Yep.
that. So that's more viewing it from a higher dimension. Okay, so I'm learning. There's still good and bad in that, right? I can fail the test from that perspective.
Hmm.
I might not understand the lessons and I might have to repeat a grade or however it's framed, right? If it's a school, then there's tests and then there's still right and wrong and you can fail. And then we expand even more and we witness it from a different dimension. And we witness that all of us are players in this game,
Hmm.
that it's a big game. And actually, even when it doesn't seem like it, my soul is having fun here.
Yeah.
And that really, man, that knocks us all the way out of disempowerment. Because if it's a game, then everything that I'm experiencing, I can't blame anybody for it.
Hmm.
And that's hard. that's hard because why would I choose this?
Mm,
That's that threshold between Earth as a school and Earth as a game that a lot of people have a hard time crossing.
mm,
Because then what's the suffering for? Why would I choose that?
mm.
And I can actually explain that, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Because if you're at that threshold where you're pissed off that they're suffering, nothing I say is actually going to alleviate that. That's where, as we were talking about, that's where the embodiment comes in. That's where the experience, it's an experience of an awakening that each of us have to have individually. And just by offering, there's a potential for more. We can see it as a playground. We can see it as this giant cosmic game that is of epic proportions. I mean, I have even had encounters with the lower density reptilians.
Mm,
And this is how I started witnessing this as a game. Because after that, and I was scared, I didn't even know these beings existed. I didn't know there was a name for them. It was before any of that.
mm.
And then a few months later, I was stopped in my tracks as I was thinking about that experience, and my guidance team came through and said, "There's more." And at that moment, I saw, oh my God, it's a game and everybody's participating. Nobody's a nobody's the bad guy. Okay,
Yeah.
then WTF are we doing? And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
and that's where a lot of this came in, right? It's a frequency game. It's a frequency game.
Yeah. And everybody's playing their part perfectly,
Yeah.
exactly as they're supposed to.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's it. Yeah. Just sharing that. Were you just channeling that at this moment? It was that.
I so
Yeah.
so everything is channeled at this point. Especially I get really ignited. I know you understand this
Mhm.
as a speaker, as part of your
Mhm.
life purpose, big
Yeah.
part of your purpose. Um, the fields open when I'm being interviewed or when I'm speaking for people. So yes, it's I channel most of the time with my eyes open now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I heard you say that before. So that must have come up a little to a point where you just are that
Yeah.
much tapped in energetically that you're still there with your eyes completely open. So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
play
sense,
there.
yeah, I sense that like the dance of life coming through you in a really beautiful way. So yeah. Well, expand on the one thing that you shared before we actually hit record, which I think is really, really good topic, is this whole thing about how do I feel safe, right? Because this is good, we see things crumbling, breaking down, and we know it's probably not the worst of it yet. There's could be some more intensity coming. Not that we want that, not that we wish that, but we know we're in a transitional time period. Um, but how do I still feel safe? And also what you shared, which is so important because we're creative beings, right? How do I still be self-empowered? And I know you spoke a little bit on that, but if you could expand more about that too, like how do I remain safe in myself and at the same time be attuned to the fact that I am the creator of my reality, and how do I dance with life in that way? How do I do that masterfully?
Yeah, that's the masterfully part. I think many of us have heard that a master practice is something for like 100 hours, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a practice. It's a practice. It's the practice of just being human. I mean, we can't get it wrong. So even if we crawl under the covers, which I have wanted to do
Mm,
for several months, right? You crawl under the covers and you say, "Wake me up when all of this transition's done." And you existing, that's as much as you need to do. But of course, we want to do more than that. We want to be active in our lives. So it is this multidimensional balance of being our higher selves and being the human selves and operating with all of that. And the way that I have found to do that, sometimes it's titrating, right? Sometimes it's like, wow, I'm so human and I'm getting upset and I'm freaking out and ah, la, 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 la. And then other times I'm in my higher self and I'm like, wow, this is so fun. I'm celebrating the breakdown process. And it's learning that middle way. I'm really, really, man, these monks walking through, I swear I'm just learning from them every single day just by witnessing them.
Yeah.
I really am. I feel that right now they are my teachers. And the middle way, it's just being. But it's being in a specific way. It's being very present.
Hmm.
So we don't really need to determine what's going to come next or what we're going to do about it. So the practice is being present because from the present moment, this is actually one of the things that my guidance team has really started to walk me into is what comes after we recognize that it's a playground, which is Doctor Strange level games, right?
Yeah.
Telekinesis, bilocation. All of these games are things that I have started to play with.
Hmm.
And when we are when we're very, very present is actually the we go through this gateway, this portal. It's not by avoiding what's wrong. It's by looking directly at it, but not being attached to it.
Hmm.
That's the gateway. And I mean, now that I introduce those other topics, I feel like I could go off, but I mean, this even relates to like brainwave states.
Hmm.
Um, and I'll kind of just briefly touch on this because I could get really excited, but people who lift cars off of their children, they
Hmm.
get this superhuman strength. What's happening in that moment? It's hyper presence and it's gamma brainwave state, which I've linked the brainwave states to different dimensional planes. So gamma brainwave state is actually six-dimensional consciousness
Oh, wow.
and operating, that's the level of Doctor Strange. So we're operating, it's high fifth and touching on sixth. So we're operating within those brainwave states when we're highly present,
Hmm.
right? So think about an emergency situation. Somebody's lifting a car off of somebody, that superhuman strength. Time expands.
Hmm.
They're given superhuman strength through their bodies and they enter that and witness how things need to happen. Now, that's actually what we're entering into. So, presence is not just, right?
Yeah.
And it's that, but that's the gateway. Presence is actually a portal
Hmm.
to knowing exactly what to do in the present moment. We won't be left helpless by being present. We'll be superhuman whenever we need to be, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So I obviously got a little geeked out there because now we're like, ooh, the playground.
But that makes total sense. That makes total sense. And it does probably link to our brainwave patterns. It is but that analogy of the person having to come to a state of emergency to rescue a child or rescue someone, I'm
Mhm.
sure time just stands completely still. They don't rationalize whether or not I have the strength to lift.
Right.
They just go into that, complete surrender of I'm in the moment now and I need to do what I need to do. And maybe even utter the words, God help me.
Right.
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 And so, yeah, I think everything that you shared today was so great. I need to have you on again. I want to be
This was
respectful.
so fun.
Yeah, I want to be respectful of your time. And I also want to let people know a little bit more how they can get more Allison. So the big thing, I know you have a summer camp that's coming up. I
Yes.
wonder if you could share a little bit about that.
Yes. So the big calling that I am being brought into, last year, this year, is star family contact. So helping people connect with their star family, even, seeing UFOs and even that more physical layer of contact. And so this has been the theme of my adult summer camp. It's called True Creator Summer Camp.
Mm.
And this is our fourth annual summer camp, where once a year we get together in the woods in Arkansas. And we have lots of fun activities. So we do ET contact or CE5, a lot of people call it, each evening. We have channeling workshops, we have telepathy workshops, we have telekinesis workshops, hiking. We go to the river. We take a little field trip to the river. This is
Nice.
honestly every year. That's everyone's favorite is going and playing in the water. And it's an incredible group of spiritual adults who want to be in community and play.
Yeah.
And this is the space for that. I mean, it's truly phenomenal, the heart opening that exists. We have cacao ceremonies and things like that. It's a really fun thing. I look forward to it every year. So True Creator Summer Camp is going to be June 11th through 15th in Arkansas.
Okay. Yeah, and I will put the link that you shared with me down in the description box on the YouTube below the YouTube video so people can click on that and find out more about it.
Yes.
And yeah, so that and you've been doing this a number of years too. It's not the first year doing this.
Yeah, this is the fourth year. So I'll
Wow.
tell everybody a little bit about the space. And I always like to add this in because it can be a large group. Like I was telling you, we have a capacity for around 60 people at this facility. It's actually usually a children's summer camp, like science center is where we're hosting it. So we have capacity for a lot of people. Your ticket includes a bunk bed, and there's also offsite if you wanted to do that. There's Airbnbs and things like that. But a lot of people who are attracted to this sort of thing also think, wow, there's going to be a lot of people. That's very overwhelming. And every single year, what people say is, I was so afraid of coming because that's a lot of people, that's a lot of interaction. One of the things that we focus on is sovereignty. So, right when we come into camp, we have a conversation about sovereignty and how you are allowed to go play in the woods by yourself the entire time if you want to. If you need space, even conversational space, we introduce how to have those conversations, how to take care of yourself. This is a group of very sensitive people all coming together. So, one of the biggest things that people talk about after every single summer camp is, wow, I actually had a much easier time than I expected. So, I wanted to introduce that.
Nice. Yeah, you know what, the way I look at it, Allison,
Yeah.
if they're all my type of people, like-minded, and I think somebody said like-hearted on that video,
Yes.
I, you know, that's a big difference in walking through the local shopping mall. It's
Yes.
it's
It's
definitely
true.
being with people that you can truly collaborate with, and that's
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Yes, it's such a special group. It's such a special group. And like you said, through two of the attendees who came last year made this incredible video where they interviewed a lot of the camp participants, and that's on the web page. And so yeah, you can hear from them like what an amazing time it is.
Perfect. And then to
Yeah.
follow you on YouTube,
Yes.
it's how do people find you on YouTube?
Allison Holley Awakening Guide, I
Okay.
believe is the link.
I'll put that in there too. And your
Yes,
website is AllisonHolley.com.
correct.
And people
Yes.
can find your books there. And I would
Yes.
highly recommend this one to anybody listening, Static Playground. I just honestly, I'm getting so much out of this.
Mhm.
It's
Love-
really helpful. And even for the topics that you shared today, it
Yeah.
really helps, I believe, a person understand that we can be brought down into the drama, or we can shine in our purpose, our joy, our passion of play.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
sometimes we're stuck in this thought process of not realizing that our vibration is perhaps our biggest contribution. They,
Yes.
yeah, so that's
Yes, I love that.
yeah. So that they can find the books on the website. Are the books also available on Amazon too, or just
Yes.
okay?
Yes. All three.
Perfect, perfect. Any last thing you want to share with the audience?
I'm just really excited to witness what we all co-create, you know, coming into these frequencies and in this moment now, even just taking this opportunity to let yourself know that whatever you're excited about creating, I'm also excited about it, and we're all excited about it. Whatever is moving through you to create is your purpose and your calling here, bringing heaven to earth and, awakening the templates of new earth. And so, yeah, if you're wondering what to do, go in the direction of your joy, whatever lights you up, we're all excited about it.
Beautiful words. Thank you so much, Allison Holley, for
Thank you,
being on the
Ron.
show. Yes, it's been a
Yay!
beautiful sharing, and definitely would love to have you come back. So yeah, we'll go a little further next time with
Okay.
other topics. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, Ron.
Namaste.
Namaste.